Before we get into practical situations that at least you can apply to your case, so you can be well prepared before you land in Canada and not get yourself stranded, there are a few factors that I want you to pay attention to anytime you hear somebody scream that they have been able to pay themselves through studying in Canada as a student without recourse to any external funding. And when I say external funding, in this case, I'm talking about counting on money or support coming from back home or coming to Canada with some huge amount of money, at least to cushion them. I always say when it comes to this journey, no two situations are the same. So always find a way to at least customize your own situation and plan for it accordingly. Listen to people's advice, but just use it to apply it to your life and adjust accordingly. Don't just copy and paste. Now let's look at some of the factors that can influence someone being able to pay themselves through studying in Canada. The first one is, how much was their tuition fee? If your tuition fee is $15,000 a year and someone's tuition fee is $5,000 a year, and the person is telling you that he was able to pay his tuition fee by just working as a student, then you have to take this with a pinch of salt, because the two of you are basically starting on different levels right from the word go. Number two is, was the person on any form of funding or scholarship? And this mainly applies to people who are taking research programs. Sometimes they are offered scholarships that goes a long way to cut down on one of these three expenses. Sometimes they might have their tuition fee being waived off, or sometimes it comes with extra funding to support the accommodation. So if somebody who got scholarship to study in Canada is telling you that I was able to pay myself through studying in Canada, then you have to wise up, because this person didn't even pay tuition fee, or his tuition fee was actually refunded to him when he landed in Canada. And all he needed to do was just go to school, study, get paid, and sometimes they will even go looking for a job because they already have a job as a teaching assistant or a research assistant. Number three is, did he pay his first semester tuition fee or a full year tuition fee before landing in Canada? I'm saying this because it depends on whether you paid part of your tuition fee or full year tuition fee before you landed in Canada. Your stress level is always different. And I've seen this with lots of people. Most people who pay their tuition fee before landing here, it's like they have some amount of cushion. They don't have to worry about getting bulk sum to pay their tuition fee the first year, because it has already been paid for. So they are able to relax, look for a job, or possibly experiment with some other jobs until they find something that they are comfortable with. And those who land here without paying their tuition fee and come here empty-handed, they have to quickly now be running around finding ways to raise that tuition amount to pay for their tuition fee so that they can continue to be a student and be in Canada. And if that money doesn't come about, then it becomes an issue. So depending on whether the person paid his first semester tuition fee or first year tuition fee before landing here, the stress level will be different. And sometimes some people will pay their first year tuition fee and they will be working to make money to pay for next year's tuition fee. And if such person is screaming he paid himself through studying in Canada, then take it with a pinch of salt, because he came here with some amount of cushion. Number four is, which province are you going to? As we will see when we start getting into practical situations, you will see that different provinces have different minimum wage, and different provinces have different tax system, and different provinces have different standard of living. And sometimes that difference of $2 in minimum wage can actually make a difference in whether you can afford to make enough to pay yourself through studying in Canada or not. So when it comes to choosing a province, you have to choose wisely. At least do enough research before you settle in the school. Don't say just because a friend of mine went there and was able to at least make it, I can also make it there. Do your own research. Factor number five is, how much money are you coming to Canada with? If someone came with $10,000 in their account after paying their tuition fee, and you are coming with just $500 in your wallet, then you are already on a different level, because your stress level is going to be different. The truth is, there are a lot of expenses that you will need to incur right after you land in Canada, and you will need to pay for these expenses out of pocket. After even securing an accommodation, they will ask you to pay for at least a 1 month security deposit. After getting that accommodation, you will need to pay for furniture, at least a mattress that you can sleep on in that room, then basic amenities that can help you to survive. And all this will be paid out of pocket even before you land your first job. So if you are coming here with just $500 in your pocket, then you have to know that your stress level is going to be different from someone who came here with $10,000 in their pocket. And the funny thing that I've grown to see is that those who actually need a job, when they land in Canada, sometimes it's very difficult finding a job. And those who land here, possibly with some amount of comfort, not prepared to at least look for a job the first couple of weeks or months, always end up landing jobs faster. It is like the joke that we always talk about when we're back in Ghana, that it's most times difficult to find a job when you are unemployed. But when you are employed, it's like everybody will be looking for you to give you a job. And last but not the least is, did their friends or family offer them free accommodation when they landed in Canada? If this is the case, then you have to know that it's like a third of their expenses for studying in Canada has just been waived off. It's like getting a scholarship to study in Canada. So sometimes when you hear some of these people screaming, I paid myself through studying in Canada, and that person actually got free accommodation because he or she had family and friends in Canada who were prepared to host him or her, but you don't have that privilege and you have to find your own accommodation and pay for your expenses, then you have to know that your cost of studying in Canada are going to be different. So the amount of money you need to make to at least pay yourself through studying in Canada is going to also be different. So my advice is, if funds is an issue for you and you still want to study in Canada, there are a few changes that you need to do to at least make it easy for you to pay yourself through studying in Canada with your peace of mind and not be stressed when you get to Canada. One, at least have your first semester tuition fee or full year tuition fee paid off before you even fly out of your home country, because that will give you peace of mind. Two, consider borrowing from the 3Fs that anybody who has started business will tell you to borrow from. And these 3Fs are friends, family, and fools, to at least finance your education for the first year. And you can speak to these people that you pay them back after a year in Canada, so that you can have your peace of mind and relax when you get here and not be rushed or stressed when you start studying. 3, consider the option of staying with a family or friend if that's available to you, because it will go a long way to cut down on your expenses when you get to Canada. 4, consider borrowing from institutions that possibly empower to finance your education. And this is not a sponsored video, but I've seen people who are even working and making their own money still go ahead and borrow from Empower to study in Canada and pay it off later post-graduation. And that gave them their peace of mind when they were students. 5, look for external sponsorships or scholarships from your institution that you'll be studying in, if that is available to you, because it will also help you to cut down on your expenses. 6 is to pick your province wisely, because it can easily impact how much money you make and how much tax you make, and even the cost of living when you are in Canada. 7 is to choose your course wisely. If migration is your ultimate goal and you are not basically here to study to be in academia, then you should choose your course wisely. At least pick a course that has a lower tuition fee, so that you don't have to work to spend most of your money paying your tuition fee, and you can easily pay yourself through studying in Canada without any recourse to external funding. So with the news change that has been introduced, this is my advice of what to do if you actually want to be able to pay yourself through studying in Canada without any recourse to external funding or even compromising your studies when you get here. And if you got value out of this video, kindly hit the subscribe button to join this family as we learn together on this journey. And don't forget to hit the like button so YouTube will see value in this video and suggest it to other people who will need it. And kindly share this video to family and friends who also need it. Till the next video, catch you.